Right, one nice little 1300, 1200, one of the two, beach buggy. It's got new tyres last year on the front. Got a little bit of corrosion, surface corrosion on the tin there, just pushing you can buy replacements of those. The chrome, it's typical chrome's got a few little imperfections, but generally looks pretty good. Suspension's good as gold, new rubbers, bits and pieces. Suspension's perfect. Tank's fine, nicely sitting under there. Yeah, very good order. Very few stone chips, if any, on the wheel arches. Very tidy sides. So again, a little bit of surface corrosion on these little caps. There, you can get them cheap enough from GSF. Obviously the chrome always goes, but I say no matter what you do, how much you polish them, that's chrome wheels for you. Loads and loads of life left on these Colway massive 31 by 10.5 R15s. Massive wheels. Power pipes. A few years left in those. Obviously painted that yellow. The fan guard makes it look a bit nicer. Conventional ignition. Air filter's a K&N filter sitting up on top of the carburetor there. It's absolutely standard, nothing's done funny to it. It's had new seals put into the manifold. They started leaking last year. Obviously that's the oil filler there, little reversing light, and yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, you could restore it and make it a good concourse. It is not a concourse car. It could be if you wanted to put the effort in. Unfortunately, I haven't really got the time to give this little baby the attention it needs. And on this side here, yeah, pretty much the same. The chrome's possibly slightly better on this side. It's neither here nor there. Tiny bits of fading on there where there were some stickers, so it's faded here. So once upon a time I had some branding stickers on there. This is gel coat, it's not painted, so if you wanted to paint it, you can. It's a perfect, very good condition gel coat. There's a tiny crack in the gel coat wiper there, and there's another little crack in the gel coat there. That is just gel coat cracks where they're sort of stress razors and stuff. Drilling holes in fiberglass is always causes a few problems. You have some big bins in the back. They're removable, they lift out. They take a bit of doing, but they don't fall out unless you want to pull them out. You could put an extra brace underneath the floor and put a seat in the back, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to take a day trip to the beach and you want someone to put your stuff, these bins are very useful. Alternatively, you can fit a lot of beer in these, quite large. I've taken the floor mats out to dry, so just giving it a clean and stuff. And yeah, the seats, a little bit tatty, it'll work, not the prettiest. They're Corbeau seats, whatever, Corbeau. Mouse got on there this winter and did a bit of chewing on the padding there. They are a bit tatty. They were tatty when I got it. I haven't replaced them because I really just don't see any need. And somebody unfortunately rammed some stuff down the back behind the seat because the back was full of advertising rubbish. And didn't do the back, so I've re-stitched it. They're serviceable, they work. Not pretty, you could replace them if you want to spend the money. I decided I didn't really want to spend that amount of money on a set of fancy seats for a car I use 2-3 times a year. A Speedo, I've no idea about what the original vehicle speeds and bits and pieces mileages were. This says 3366, and I suspect that was probably a new Speedo or a zeroed Speedo when this actual beach buggy was built into a beach buggy. Straightforward addiction there. Because the tiny little green glow there tells you where you got indicators on is invisible in sunlight because of the angle of things, I put a extra light here. So if I'm running daylight, I can actually see that LED light, and so I know if indicators are flashing because they're not self-cancelling. The headlights, they are I've resprayed the shells because the chrome was not very good. They look quite nice with the yellow backs. Yes, again, a little bit tatty. You could replace them if you wanted to spend the money, but as I say, they've got years of stuff in there. Really, a tiny puff of oil when you first start, when the engine's hot, cold, so make a difference. You get a little puff when it first starts. That clears immediately. I suspect you get a small amount of blow-by because the engine it's old. It's tax exempt. It's 1973, so yeah, it is not a young vehicle. Chassis is absolutely mint. It's lovely. Very good indeed. If you look underneath, you can see that it's all been painted. There was a tiny little bit of rust on the other side, and when the corner roughly centre frame, I welded that. Not that I needed it, I just decided to do that. But yeah, the sills, all the bits, everything, any bolts on, they are crisp as new as they left the factory. It really, chassis is very good condition. It's nice and stiff. It works really well. Fiberglass, yeah, it's in excellent condition. It's surprising. Really, really thick, good and heavy. I've just painted the inside of the wheel arches black because it makes the dirt doesn't stick to them as much. Yeah, elegant vehicle. Very nice. Unfortunately, I'm having to downsize. Oh yes, a bit more fading there, and there's a bit more fading there where stickers were. But yeah, it's a good vehicle, very good vehicle. Drives nicely, goes nicely, pretty reliable. I mean, I once flooded it when I was driving it at -10 and threw an awful lot of fuel out of the exhaust pipe just carb icing. There's no hot air for the engine. It's the nature of the beast. It's a summer car, and in summer, this little beastie is so much fun. Just step back so you can see it all. Yeah, she's lovely. Bright yellow. Anybody can see her. Anybody can hear her coming. None of that sort of, oh, I didn't hear you, I didn't see you. People will see you, they will notice, they will wave and smile. It is a fantastic summer car. I don't want to sell it, I've got to sell it. I simply can't store it any longer here. I can't really give it the TLC I need because I'm moving out of the area and downsizing, and yeah, it's a real shame. Tax exempt, £110 a year, 1500 mile limited insurance, you know, tax, no tax, MOT 50 quid, you know, call it 160 quid or so, 170 quid a year, just shove fuel in. It's so cheap to own. I've got the stereo at home, I've taken it out so it doesn't get damp. You can't hear the stereo when you're going anywhere because it's too loud and too windy. But yeah, I love this little car. My fiance does not want me to sell it, but I've got to be hard with myself. Tweety fortunately has got to go. It's a real shame, but yeah, it needs to go to a good home, someone you can take her out in the summertime and enjoy her. She's marvellous.